Breaking news, Keto Diet proponent Al Roker has been hospitalized. He has a long history of health problems, for which he took actions such as bariatric weight loss surgery and eating a low-carb diet, specifically the Keto Diet. Before we get to his latest health problem and why he was hospitalized, let's look back at something I remember where he got into a spat diet battle with weight loss coach Jillian Michaels. To see where Al Roker's coming from with his support of the keto diet, I think this is where the controversy began. Started with Jillian Michaels making a video saying, "Don't believe the keto diet hype." Let's hear some of that.
How do we really decipher the thousands of studies that are out there on all of these diets? And the problem is, what people will do to try to sell you a false bill of goods is take one study and blow that study out as though it's the entire picture.
Yes, we see that a lot in my circles. We call that the half-truth.
When, of course it isn't. Imagine you have a massive painting, but I only showed you this tiny piece of the painting, but you had no idea what the hell else was going on over here. There's no way you could get an accurate read on if this is a sad picture, a happy picture. Well, what are we doing with keto, right? We're removing carbohydrates. Anything that elevates, you got about 20 grams of carbohydrates a day that you're ingesting, which is essentially nothing. Of what could be anywhere from a 1,600 to 2,500 calorie a day.
I don't think so. Keto teachers say, some say that at least one reason you lose weight is because you're not hungry when you're eating this way. I say because the body gets bored of the limited variety and people just eat less on the diet.
So that's nothing, right? And it throws your body into a state of emergency. That's what ketosis is.
I don't know if I made that up or not. I may have picked that up many years ago. State of emergency. That's exactly how I described it. Describe ketosis because every animal on the planet eats carbohydrates. This is a misconception that's not being corrected, except for me over here with my low viewership. Every animal, their digestive system expects carbohydrates. When it's not there, and the only way to do that is to eat meat that comes from animals that lived in cages, and so they don't have muscle glycogen. The body thinks something's wrong, or you're just not getting something that it's expected. Even though carbs aren't essential, it's expected, and the body puts them to good use. It's the way that bodies work.
And because we don't have any glucose or glycogen, any blood sugar or stored blood sugar, we turn to fat quickly. We produce ketones, and the idea is we burn through fat and we lose fat fast. And that is true, right? And you would think that would be a good thing. And in addition, people will say, well, I reversed my type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, it seems like she's right on it. She seems to understand everything that my community does. It seems to reverse type 2 or cure it. Yeah, they go to that length. But I say that low carb just puts insulin resistance into remission. You're just hiding from it because you're not activating insulin for the resistance to show up. Now, some would say, well, that's a cure to me. The difference in the mindset of whether you think it's a cure or remission all comes down to how you look at diabetes and nature. Like I was just saying, carbs are normal. They're in every food, every natural food, not factory farmed meat. So every digestive system expects carbs and is designed to deal with it. If your system and your pancreas can't deal with carbs, then you still have insulin resistance and diabetes. So keto is just hiding from it. It's making it not noticeable. I say this is a unhealthy, maybe dangerous way to go about dealing with your symptom instead of finding the real solution, the natural solution.
But here's what we're not talking about. There's 0 calorie restriction on a ketogenic diet. So you have a massive amount of oxidative stress.
Now we're about to see some keto teachers who say where she goes wrong, what she doesn't understand. And that could be it right there. As you saw in a recent video of mine, 1 meal a day, they do that a lot. And she mentioned calorie restriction, which I don't believe in. I hope she doesn't. I didn't think she did. Keto people end up lowering the calories without trying. So I think that's something she doesn't understand here.
It's very high in animal fats and animal proteins. So we're seeing that diets rich in saturated fats are poor for our telomeres, oxidative stress, increased inflammation.
Okay, here's a video talking about the feud between Jillian and Al Roker. Keep in mind, Jillian didn't start this battle. She just made a video. It was Al Roker that came in on the attack defending the keto diet. Yes, Al Roker, the weatherman, is going to School Jillian Michaels. Gonna debunk her shit.
It's war between Biggest Loser trainer Jillian Michaels and the Today Show's Al Roker over the popular keto diet.
It's a diet that deprives the body of carbohydrates.
The keto diet promotes high-fat, low-carb meals, encouraging followers to fill up on foods like bacon, avocados, eggs, and cheese. Jillian believes that's terrible advice.
Do you think that the keto diet is healthy?
I don't think the keto diet is healthy.
Al Roker, who has struggled with his weight all his life and had gastric bypass surgery in 2002, has been on the keto diet since
Oh, there's something to take note of. So he lost the weight with the help of gastric bypass. And I was just making a video about Boogie a couple days ago who had that. That's bad too, because it restricts. It works by restricting. You need to learn to control yourself. Or more to the point, you need to shift your lifestyle and your diet. But the way I eat is healthy, but I do it in a way that's satisfying. And so you don't really need much self-control. And you just learn to change your way of living. That's what you need to do. And once you've been there, then you will see that it wasn't hard. It just seems hard before you do it. You will see it when you believe it.
who has struggled with his weight all his life and had gastric bypass surgery.
See, just like Boogie, the word struggled all his life, almost all. Why can't these people get it together? Now, we know Boogie just has a mental problem. 47 years old, just never going to get it together. Now, I don't want to say Al is the same, but it lines up so far.
Gastric bypass surgery in 2002.
Okay, 2002.
Has been on the keto diet since last September.
Oh, shit. Can't even measure it in years. I've been saying this for like 7 years. Low-carb community, so many of them that are just starting the keto diet or getting back on it after going off it, you can't stay on low carb. That should be clear to people. I've been documenting this 7 years. And realize when you see where most people are in months of the diet, well, that's their latest attempt. They've probably been going on and off it for years. I'm on year 27 of my diet, the Carbo-Raider diet. Look it up.
Has been on the keto diet since last September. And
That makes him like a relative expert in the field, right?
on the keto diet since last September and took a jab at Jillian's in-your-face appearances on The Biggest Loser.
You're failing! Great! Now what?
This from a woman who promoted on-camera bullying, deprivation, manipulation, and more weekly.
Oh, shit. That's all you got to do? Attack someone's style. It's just like politics. Personal attacks. That's their go-to thing when they don't have the science. Right, when people speak out against low carb, they've got sense and science on their side. And you really can't debunk any of that. So they got to work around.
My point is, what works for you works for you. Yeah. And there's science on.
Both sides. Man, being on the news all the time, I guess he hears all the political stuff, gets into his head. Both sides.
On both sides that say, can say it's not a great idea, and science that says it is a good.
We're all human beings with the same digestive system, and every species on the planet expects carbs. So he really shouldn't be on TV talking nothing. He should actually be a politician.
And there's science on both sides that say, can say it's not a great idea, and science that says it is a good idea.
What people will do to try to sell you a false bill of goods is take one study and blow that study out as though it's the entire picture.
TV personality Andy Cohen also weighed in.
Don't feel bad, Keto Diet. A lot of people think Jillian Michaels is a bad idea.
So, a comedian? With, again, nothing really to say except personal jabs. Doesn't that show you people out there that try these low-carb diets? You can do what you want, but do you want a better life? Then you need to see the reality. Look at this. This is the defense of low-carb diets?
Did any of their words hurt you?
Al Roker was pretty upset. And the reason I was upset is because this is a guy that I have done segments with on the Today Show for over a decade. I don't think there's any reason in any scenario where a debate about nutrition should be personal, name-calling, and mudslinging, and that's disappointing to me.
And Jillian Michaels did make other videos about the keto diet.
We're going to talk about keto again.
Now, in all fairness, and I can afford to be fair in my position of being on the right side, here's a reaction to Jillian Michaels from the popular Dr. Berg, famous keto doctor. He would be a keto expert, and he said Jillian has some keto diet confusion.
Recently, Jillian Michaels gave her opinion on a ketogenic diet.
They're all just fads reskinned, right? I mean, if you think about it, like...
Mostly, and that smirk gets on his face. If one thing is a fad, Looking back in history, the low-carb diet has gone through many phases and fads. It comes and goes, and it gets new names. So that qualifies for a fad.
Right now it's keto. And like, I don't know if anybody is as old as me in this room, but that diet used to be called Atkins. And my
Yeah, that's funny and all. Of course, not completely accurate. She's not naive. She knows there's a difference, but why wasn't Atkins good enough? Back in the 70s, it was. They were all pushing it. If Berg was back in the 70s, he'd be pushing Atkins.
But the Atkins diet is pretty high in protein. So keto is moderate protein. Okay.
What's the big deal?
Okay, so I just want to clarify that.
what happens is that people will take fads and trends and reskin them with a different name.
So what is...
By the way, I'm giving Berg a chance here, but we already know this guy has been debunked so much and exposed as a scammer in so many ways. It's ridiculous. This guy's a Scientologist. He runs some kind of clinic. And get this, people, it's in Virginia. What's with Virginia?
Keto is low carb.
Keto is exactly, it puts you in ketosis.
But that's not good for you, though.
No, it's not. And at the end of the day, just like 2 + 2 will always equal 4, when it comes to health, it's an energy equation. Eat less, use common sense with your food choices, and move more. And that's just...
All right, guys, so that is the solution. If we just ate less.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with eating less, so that's a problem. I think she means eating less than a lot of fat people do. They eat all this really dense food, and that is part of the problem. No, I believe in eating all you want, but I don't eat the amounts they do. It's because I don't eat butter and bacon. You can just really overeat on those foods. And she said sensible food choice. And yeah, you don't need keto. And this guy is Mr. Keto, so he's got to sell it.
And move more, we would all lose weight.
Correct.
First of all, if you're in practice for any period of time and you're working with people one-on-one, especially over the age of 40, especially if they're female, especially if they're premenopausal, you're going to run up against a situation with a very slow metabolism. And eating less and moving more is not going to work. So one thing she really doesn't...
The metabolism will adjust.
If you're in practice for any period of time, you're going to run up against a situation with a very slow metabolism. Realize is that exercise has a very small influence over you.
I've been doing this a heck of a long time.
2 minutes into the video. Hasn't said anything yet.
Let's go to another one.
Like, why would anybody think this is a good idea?
People are mental.
Macromolecules are literally made up of protein, fat, carbohydrates, nucleic acids.
Okay, so let's talk about that point. This is one of the million reasons why you should not do a ketogenic diet because...
What? Did he mean to say that? This guy also has a brain problem. He just says things that he wouldn't say if he had better judgment.
Your cells are made out of fat, protein, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids. Most of your brain is fat.
Here we go. Oh my God. So stupid. Is he really going to make the argument? Yeah, I think he is going to because I've been covering Dr. Berg for about 6 years. And he does this. He's dumb. I think he's really going to say the brain is mostly made up out of fat, so you should fuel your brain by eating fat. And I come in with my famous car metaphor, which was recently called stupid, the stupidest metaphor he's ever heard. Well, that was a keto person. It's a great metaphor. So since then, which was about a month back, I've heard 2 keto people use a car metaphor similar to mine. Mine goes like this. A car is mostly made out of metal and rubber. But you don't put liquid metal, rubber, in the gas tank. You put gas in the tank. The car's not made out of gas, but the oil is the fuel. Yeah, sometimes you got to go into the shop, get a replacement, a little bit of metal here and there. And in this metaphor, that would be protein for us. Every carb food has enough protein in it, period. The stupid protein is amazing. And I just realized I've gone way off topic on this video, as I often do. Why is that? Because of this jerk here on the screen. But this brings up a good point. This video here, I'm watching this video of his because he's supposed to be debunking Jillian Michaels here, who says you shouldn't eat a keto diet. And she's right. His argument here is faulty. Well, I'm trying to get to the Al Roker thing. So we can say goodbye to Dr. Berg. He had nothing on Jillian Michaels. Jillian's words still stand. The diet is not right. So with that being said, we can now get on with this. Oh, crap. I forgot, there's another guy here. I know this guy, this keto guy, well too, who recently criticized the keto diet after 7 years. I've been covering him a lot, so I should put him in my video. And this guy's crazy too. You know, like every 3 weeks, he's threatening to end certain people, throw them in a meat grinder.
I don't want to have to throw any of these secret society cocksuckers in a fucking meat grinder. Like, already, one of them already deserved to be thrown in a meat grinder. We know who that is.
He's got a bunch of health problems. Let's skim through this.
Jillian Michaels, a celebrity fitness trainer, recently spoke out against the ketogenic diet. So she started by attempting to discredit the diet,
which he did just weeks ago.
Fear-mongering things like, oh, animal fat and protein. Like, no.
That's fear-mongering. This guy also spends a lot of time in political circles, so he's going to call that fear-mongering. Ringing bells here. He's a conservative too, yes.
Duh, they're bad for you. And
correct.
She said there are a million reasons that the diet doesn't work, but she...
Didn't we just hear Dr. Berg say that?
And she says that your cells are made up of fats, proteins, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids. And yes, you have to throw in the nucleic acid word so she sounds like she knows.
Yeah, he knows about trying to sound like you're very knowledgeable about the topic. He knows that very well because he uses this technique all the time.
Knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. She claims that, oh, of course, vegetables are good for you, but this is the main issue I have.
Oh, I want to skip this too.
With conventional wisdom, people take so many things for granted.
Yes, he's all about going against the grain.
Things that are going to protect your skin for the long run are going to be stuff that works from the inside out. So I would say a diet high in antioxidants.
I think me and Jillian are around the same age, which is about 20 years older than Frank, and we have better skin than he does.
Doesn't really give any concrete opinions and just tries to solidify people into believing that they are okay, they don't have to try the keto diet, there's no mysterious benefit from going.
That's correct.
People just want to hear what they want to believe.
Oh shit, the hypocrisy. Don't have time for that hypocrisy, man.
I don't think there's a point where humans haven't been in ketosis.
Oh shit.
Except for the recent few thousand years where agriculture has.
And that is just plain wrong, man. Jeez, I hate this ignorance. Humans have always eaten carbs. Even meat has glycogen in it. History's not full of just humans eating animals. That is a myth. It's a cartoon myth.
Animal foods are the foods that are highest in vitamins. Even vitamins.
Here we go with the nutritional fallacy. Nutrients, though. But he's talking about animals that are vegans. And I'm most of the way through this video. How is this the most popular diet on Earth when it's so easily debunkable?
As most people don't have an understanding of it, and it's not really a good thing consuming animal foods, especially things like liver, high-quality pastured meats, egg yolks.
What good is all that vitamin A when you have liver toxicity, which this guy does right now? This brings us to yesterday's news that Al Roker has been hospitalized. And just as I was beginning to read a story about it, I thought, I bet you it will be some kind of clogged artery situation or heart problem. And then I started reading.
Al Roker reveals his hospitalization after an absence from the Today Show. The weatherman shares a health update with fans on Instagram, writing, "Last week I was admitted to the hospital with a blood clot in my leg, which sent some clots into my lungs." He adds, "After some medical whack-a-mole, I am so fortunate to be getting terrific medical care and on the way to recovery."
He inspires me every day because when I wake up, I see him on his treadmill in the basement. He's walking here to work.
Exactly.
Then, all right, now I got to get. I haven't done any exercises.
The broadcaster has faced his share of health issues through the years, most recently his prostate cancer diagnosis, which he opened up about in 2020.
Pause. I never heard about this one. 2020, he got cancer. And when was he attacking Jillian Michaels about his keto diet? 3 years ago? That would be 2019. Do I need to do any more math for you?
Though he's faced hurdles, Roker has also made his health a priority. This year, he...
My ass. And those people on the Today Show there, those fools, getting some medical intervention to solve the blood clot problem doesn't mean it's going to be fine. Speaking of whack-a-mole, gee, I was just thought of that. It's like whack-a-mole. You whack that mole, it's just another unhealthy mole's going to pop up because the guy is unhealthy because he's on a really unhealthy diet. It's going to be one thing or another that it's going to get you sooner rather than later.
Committed to walking 10,000 steps a day and a low-carb diet, which led to his impressive 45-pound weight loss.
45 pounds is not impressive. The body can retain like 30 pounds of water. And here they are saying low carb's good and you lost weight because of it, and that's good. Yet here he is in the hospital. Jesus! I'm not an expert in blood clots, so I looked up causes of blood clots. Chronic high blood pressure. You could link that with the low-carb diet, low-fiber diet, soluble fiber, maybe, I don't know. High levels of triglycerides, LDL, cholesterol, just put all that together. Those things tend to go up when your consumption of meat goes up. The low-carb people, with their new studies, people. That's the big trick, to try to stop this low-fat movement, because it was hurting the fat industry. Uncontrolled diabetes. I would say Al Roker has insulin resistance, but he's either keeping it controlled with low carb, or he's cheating and therefore uncontrolled. It's one or the other. Controlled or uncontrolled, he still has the problem. He got cancer a couple of years ago. More meat, more cancer, people. We all know this. 800 studies. Inflammation, huh? That's their big talking point. They say keto is low inflammatory. You can doubt it, or you can wake up. My solution with the Carbo-Raider diet, it's right there in the name. You can eat all of the carbs you want if you keep the fat low enough, and or time when you eat carbs and when you eat fat, the body will be satisfied. And that will send a signal to your mind for you to be satisfied. You will see it when you believe it enough to try it. Just try it.